On a cold and overcast Wednesday afternoon in 1971, a man in a black business suit, wearing sunglasses and a neatly pressed white shirt, steps into the terminal of Portland International Airport. He's carrying only a black attached case and a one-way ticket to Seattle on Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305. The man registers under the name Dan Cooper, but today we know him by the media's name for him, DB Cooper. This ordinary ticket would soon lead to an extraordinary crime, one that would captivate America for over 5 decades. Cooper takes his seat at the rear of the Boeing 727, calm and composed. He orders a bourbon and soda, paying his bill with a $20 note, blending in like any other business traveler. But beneath this calm exterior, Cooper has carefully planned a bold and unprecedented act. A few minutes into the flight, Cooper quietly slips a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. Initially, she assumes it's just a number or casual message from a lonely traveler. But when Cooper leans toward her and murmurs, "Miss, you'd better read that. I have a bomb," she realizes this is far from ordinary. Florence opens the note. Cooper's demands are precise and clear: $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck waiting in Seattle to refuel the plane. If any of these demands aren't met, he threatens, he will detonate the bomb. Upon learning of the hijacking, the FBI and Northwest Orient Airlines make the crucial decision to comply. Cooper's demands are swiftly coordinated. The cash is gathered, each of the $10,020 bills meticulously photographed to record their serial numbers. Parachutes are collected from a local skydiving school. Meanwhile, Cooper remains calm, even polite, occasionally reassured the crew that he has no intention of harming anyone if his demands are met. Flight 305 lands in Seattle, and a careful exchange is made. Cooper receives the ransom money and parachutes, while allowing all 36 passengers to disembark. Only the flight crew remains on board with him. Cooper then issues his final instructions to the crew: head south toward Mexico City, fly at a low altitude of 10,000 feet, and keep the rear staircase open. As the plane soars into the stormy night over Washington's rugged mountains and thick forests, DB Cooper begins his escape plan. He instructs the crew to remain in the cockpit, blocking the view of his next moves. At precisely 8:13 p.m., a light flickers in the cockpit, an indication that the rear door and staircase have been opened. Then, somewhere between Seattle and Reno, DB Cooper vanishes into the night, jumping from the rear staircase with the ransom money strapped to his body. This was no ordinary skydive. He leapt into a fierce storm, wearing only a business suit, no helmet, and standard loafers, and yet, he disappears without a trace. Once Cooper disappeared, the FBI launched one of the most extensive and challenging manhunts in US history, searching a vast 28-square-mile area believed to be his landing zone. Helicopters, dogs, and ground teams combed the area for weeks. Yet, there was no trace, no parachute, no body, and none of the ransom money. The hijacking becomes an instant media sensation. Despite hundreds of leads and interviews with possible suspects, the trail goes cold and years pass without a single credible clue, until something happens in 1980. On a family outing near the Columbia River, a boy stumbles upon 3 bundles of decaying cash. The FBI confirms that the serial numbers match Cooper's ransom. But how did the money end up here? The area was far from the suspected landing zone, fueling speculation that Cooper may have escaped but discarded or lost the money along the way. Theories about Cooper's identity and fate began circulating for decades. Some believe he was Richard Floyd McCoy, a former Green Beret who carried out a similar hijacking in 1972. Others pointed to Dwayne Weber, who allegedly confessed on his deathbed to being Cooper. Some believe Cooper didn't survive the jump at all, arguing that the rough terrain and conditions would have been impossible for even an expert skydiver. The FBI examined every lead, but none fit perfectly. The agency even tested DNA samples from Cooper's clip-on tie, which he left behind, but the results were inconclusive. After 45 years, and a thorough review of all available evidence, the FBI officially closed the case in 2016. Yet, D.B. Cooper's identity and fate remain one of the greatest mysteries in US history. Who actually was D.B. Cooper? A military-trained parachutist? A desperate man, driven by a need for money or thrill? Or was he someone who meticulously planned the escape, only to meet a tragic fate in the wilderness? We may never know. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of America's enduring mysteries. Drop your theories in the comments below. Did D.B. Cooper survive, or did his plan end in disaster? And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe for more videos.